Dad got offered a job in Nashville when I was 14, and there were 6 kids at that time. My mom was pregnant with my sister, so we all moved over to the US, to Nashville, and the new, very different, very adventurous life began at that point, for sure.
Well, you started your career in Australia, right?
A little bit,
okay.
Just a little bit, yeah. So because I'd grown up around a lot of Christian artists, Carmen was actually one of the artists that I kind of got to know. He almost became like an uncle to me. He just treated me like a grown-up in a way, like very kindly, very respectfully.
Did you meet him there or here in the States?
Actually, yeah,
okay.
in Australia.
Okay.
So my dad had toured him a few different times. So he asked me to tour with him when I was 13. So that was my first tour. Also did a worship album on my dad's record label in Australia. And yeah, that kind of began things.
Was it something that you wanted to do as a little girl, or did it just come natural to you?
I think music was one of those things where I felt like God would possibly lead me into it, but I didn't. It wasn't this overwhelming, I've just got to sing, I've got to be on the stage, passion on that level. I think when I was around 12, I gave my gifts and my talents to God, and I sensed that He might lead me into music, and that was around the time that things started to happen. So very soon after that was the Carmen tour. So I loved acting, though. That was probably one of the things that I wanted to do when I was little.
So when you came to Nashville, then what happened to your career?
Well, so I was still very, very young. I mean, we have a 7-year-old daughter now, and I'm thinking, man, I was just around double her age, when all this was happening. But so we moved to the US. My dad had this job, but a couple months after we moved, that job fell through. So we were on the other side of the world, felt called to be here as a family, but ended up not having any income, and 7 kids at that time.
Did he think about moving back, or?
We did, but it felt like kind of a dead end there. Like, I think my parents felt like we really were called to be in the US and needed to stick it out through the hard times. So we just prayed, for a car, food, money, sat on the floor. We didn't have any furniture in our house at that point, and at the rental. Thankfully, the people that were renting to us were even gracious on rent.